Hello, my lovely Cancereans, and a very warm welcome to your 2021-22 forecast. Well, 2020, of course, has been a life-changing year on all levels, globally and personally. And now as we move into 2021, the flavor is a little different. Does it mean there won't be challenges? No. There are certainly hurdles to be overcome and obstacles to be moved over, but nothing that isn't insurmountable, and that together we can't actually move into better conditions and a better world as we move forward. The most important aspect this year that stands out astrologically, there are a few others, but the one that really stands out head and shoulders of the rest, is this square between Uranus, planet that rules freedom. It's the planet that rules electricity, it rules the internet. It rules travel, space travel particularly. Would rule ETs, and it also rules astrology, is square to Saturn. And Saturn is all about lessons and learning and structure and organization and authorities and governments and rules and regulations. And these two planets are square from February to July very strongly. Again, November, December really strongly, but all year they are within orb of a square aspect. So on a more global level, I think we're going to be working with fights for our freedoms, for the things that matter, with what governments and authorities seem to be imposing on us, and quite a lot of tension in these areas. And I cover that in more detail on the general predictions for the coming year, 2021 to 2022. Excuse me. But on a personal level, you're going to be looking at areas in your life where you want to be free, where you want to break out. And you might want to think about that now. New Year's resolutions. What is inhibiting me? What is making me feel really restricted? Am I feeling resentful about it? And what can I do about it? And are there any plans that I can make to begin to feel freer? So you might feel restricted as far as your physical health is concerned. You might need to make some changes there. You might feel restricted in a relationship that's too demanding of you. You might feel restricted in a job that you're not enjoying. So think about where you're feeling restricted and where you need to break out and what you're going to do about that. And the Saturn square to Saturn is about choosing your responsibilities carefully. Not jumping in with alacrity and saying, oh yes, I'll do this and that and the other, and then feeling really not okay about it afterwards. So choose your commitments very carefully and don't pin yourself in too much, because chances are anything that feels too suffocating, where you can't breathe, interesting that the virus is about not being able to breathe, it's about where do you need to breathe in your life in order to feel the freedom that you need? And at the same time, where do you need healthy structures? So at the beginning of the year, by the way, at the end of the video, you will get a list of these important dates that I refer to during the video. January the 7th, the year starts off with Mars going into your 11th house. It's been in your 10th for over 6 months. Finally, Mars, until the beginning of March, in this 11th house, joining Uranus. This is a wonderful time for putting energy into your friends, your social circle, online, offline, working in collaboration with teams, with groups, with communities. A wonderful time for just connecting up with your tribe. But if you're feeling passionate about it, it's time to put energy in it. Maybe to take the initiative. Cancereans, you're a cardinal sign. Maybe you need to lead something up. Be the head of the team and say, hey, let's do this, 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 and this, A, B, C, D. There's been a lot of insecurities, still are in our world. You might be looking for more security. And of course, Cancer is always looking for more security. And you may find that you get some sense of security from the connections, powerful connections that you make with people and groups. And you may already have made a lot of inroads into that because Uranus has been in this 11th house for a while. But the Mars is just going to energize it and encourage you to reach out to people, people that you might not normally reach out to, and find that you've got things in common and things that you want to work for together. So this square between Saturn and Uranus that I've been talking about is from your 8th to your 11th house. So you might need to free yourself of certain financial obligations and commitments. Maybe you need to put a plan in place in order to do that. You might be looking at your investments. Maybe you need to change them, get free of certain ones, even if it means certain penalties. Just maybe need to just free yourself. It's also a time of looking at which relationships are holding you down, holding you back. Where do you need to liberate yourself there? Are you holding yourself back? That's the thing here. The square is about the personal inner you. Where are you arguing for your limitations? Say, oh, I can't do that, or I was never any good at that. What about trying it? What about seeing that you can stretch yourself and being pleasantly surprised, Uranus energy, how far you can go? Now, on the May the 15th, we've got Jupiter coming to join Neptune until the end of July in your 9th house. Beautiful aspect. You might be traveling. You might meet somebody from overseas and really have such a soul connection. It's wonderful for your spiritual journey, connecting up with a soulmate. It's wonderful for pursuing a spiritual retreat, a quest. Travel is certainly possible at this time, possible maybe to your dream location. You might move to a dream location. And then at the end of July, this Jupiter goes back into this 8th house until the end of the year, and then we'll come back into the 9th house for several months. So the Jupiter-Saturn in your 8th has to do with you going deep. You might be researching something, you might be looking into your past, your ancestors. And you may also be getting into some kind of a business partnership or deal. Now the eclipses come on May the 29th. We've got a lunar eclipse, whoopsie daisy, here in your 6th house. And on June the 10th, a solar eclipse, come here darling, in your 12th house. So 6th and 12th being activated in the middle of the year by eclipses. This is going to be a time for you to look at your health, your well-being. Are there any changes you need to make? Maybe to your diet, your exercise, your thinking. Are you getting enough balance between your inner life and your outer world, the internal and the external, the balance between the two? And you might find yourself going into a different line of work, looking for new kinds of work, opportunities that bring you more fulfillment on the deeper level. And on the 19th of November, we've got a lunar eclipse happening here in your 11th house. And on December the 4th, a solar eclipse happening in the house of health. So new beginnings for you at the end of the year to do with health and well-being and vitality and energy. And maybe a new job. And maybe you're going to be volunteering to help in some kind of an organization. And then the full moon here on November 19th in the 11th house. Gosh, you may realize a dream of getting together with a community, living in a community, starting a project with like-minded individuals, bringing it to fruition. We're going to see much more community explorations. People are going to explore outside of the system, not going to want to be too enmeshed in systems. Uranus square Saturn here. So where do you need to free yourself of your own rigidities? And where do you need perhaps a little more structure in order to achieve the goals that you're looking for this year. So these are exciting times. It's an amazing time to be alive. And I want to thank so many of you who contribute to this channel generously on Patreon. Thank you for liking, commenting, subbing, and sharing. Bye for now.